Today I want to talk about the various offerings that we have within My TrueNORTH, but not as a sales pitch, as a means of how do we come up with them and why that is relevant to you, in order that you can then give considerations to how do you come up with the products and services that you create and deliver to your clients and customers. It all starts with understanding your ideal target client. It all starts understanding about who it is that you want to do work with and the problems that they may have that you could eventually then solve. It's about being able to spend some time understanding as to who it is that you want to do work with and understanding a lot more about them than perhaps simply, oh, I could sell anything to anyone. Really? Getting to know your prospective ideal target client is key in the research that you need to do to establish as to, is this the person that you want to be doing business with? Certainly within My TrueNORTH, one of the questions that we regularly ask people when we first start working with them, and collectively throughout that journey, if they come up with new products or services along the way. If you could only work with one person for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? Just give consideration to that for 1 second or two. If you could only work with one person for the rest of your life, who would it be and why? If we can determine as to who that might be, and we learn about why you would want to do work with them in that manner, we can then establish as to what it is about them that attracts you to them and the solution that you could provide for them. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, do not look up to somebody. Simply look into somebody. Don't look up to somebody and put them on a pedestal, because I assure you, regardless of who they are, at some stage in the future, they will fall from that pedestal. They will not quite live up to all of the expectations that you subsequently create on them, and you'll end up with disappointment. If you do start to find yourself looking up to somebody and admiring somebody else, simply look into them to find out what it is that about them that you admire so much, and how can you replicate that or resonate with that in order that others do so also. So first of all, it's about understanding as to the ideal target client. Now, understand, I haven't said ideal target industry, because ironically there are many different types of client in that industry. I've said the ideal target client. Give them a name, either a real name or a fictitious name if you haven't yet got one, but starts to paint the picture with regards to exactly who they are, what they're about, how they are. Understand more about them. Go and find some people that replicate them, that represent them. Create a beta test group of people that fit the mould. And the good news is that there are so many tools now out there that you can start entering these type of details into that will help and search to be able to find those type of people. Ironically, one of the easiest methods to be able to start to do that is your first ever Facebook ad. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating that you go out straight away on day one and start running ads on Facebook, but simply go into Ads Manager and starts to go through a series of questions about the competencies and attributes, the geography, the physicality, the age, the sex, the likes and dislikes of all of the different variables within the Facebook database. And you can start to identify as to the size of audience that you're looking to be able to potentially communicate with, and the message then that would resonate most with them. There was some research done a few years ago now that said if you can target your ideal audience and narrow it down, niche it down, almost super niche it to somewhere between 50 and 80,000 people worldwide that meet those criteria, then you're on a winning streak to be able to make a message that resonates with them sufficiently to be able to grow rapidly. Between 50 and 80,000. It's interesting because when you go on and do your first Facebook ad, it almost suggests that there's a needle that runs from green through to red, and it suggests that, you know, the ideal is to be able to have the needle pointing straight ahead. With regards to, if it's too far to the left, it implies that you haven't got sufficient people in the funnel, sufficient criteria to be able to meet people. And if it's too far over on the right, it starts to suggest that you've got too much criteria, that you've narrowed down the audience too much. It says that, you know, dead center is about right for ads on Facebook. And yet dead center, I've found, certainly within my industry and the parameters to which we put in, still offer about 225 to 260,000 people in the database. And as far as I'm concerned, that's still far too many people for my message to resonate with strongly. So I'm going to push that needle so much further over that it says I haven't got sufficient people in the criteria, in the funnel, as it were, in the criteria that meet my requirements before I start sending a message to them. So I want to do that and understand as to more and more and more about the ideal target person I want to work with. Now I need to understand as to what problems are they facing. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't just in relations to you and your business. I need to understand as to what current priorities they have in life. I need to understand more about their age. I need to understand about what's important to them right now. And I need to understand as to their decision-making process. And I can do that, again, by taking observations or creating a poll or a survey, encouraging them or enticing them, possibly even incentivizing them to be able to complete it, in order to establish as to what are the problems that they're facing right now, and am I capable of either helping to solve any or to drive forward towards a resolution, or can I introduce them to somebody that could fix those problems as well? Yes. Can I possibly be the conduit that goes from problems to solution without even delivering anything myself, simply by connecting them with someone that does that? Relationship marketing is huge when it comes to being able to build rapport with somebody by helping to resolve the problems that they are currently facing, even if they are not problems that you are able to resolve yourself. Ironically, as a business model, that's fabulous. Can you imagine the rapport that you are able to build with that person, that if every time that they have a problem, they come and ask you, can you just help me find solutions to X? Yeah, not a problem. I'll have someone call you. Ironically, the most successful business in the world at being able to do this, so much so that more than 1 billion hits a month visit their website because they have a problem that they know that the business is able to find a solution for, is Google. Just think about that for a second. They have a single landing page that has got their brand and the availability for you to ask a question. That's it. They have a white piece of paper with a brand, this is who's providing the solution, and the chance for you to be able to say what your problem is today. And more than 1 billion people a month visit their website for Google to provide them with a solution. I'll type in the problem. They offer me 1 million different opportunities of solution within a microsecond of me clicking return. So if they have a problem and they're able to come to you for the solution, and whether you're able to provide that yourself or whether you're able to introduce them to somebody that is able to provide them with the solution, the relationship is built with you as the solution provider. I was able to get my roof fixed because Jay introduced me to Neil, who came out and fixed my roof. Neil fixed the roof, Jay provided the solution. Understanding your key target audiences first, but understanding that the problems that they are currently facing is second. Third, we need to understand their decision-making process. We need to accept the fact that some people don't know that they have a problem, and you're busy trying to tell them, I can see that you've got a problem with your website, let me fix it. They don't see the problem. They don't acknowledge the problem. They don't know that they have a problem. There are many people out there currently struggling that don't know that there is a solution out there. They don't know who to ask. They don't know what to ask. That they are currently going through life struggling because they don't know. And the simple fact is in life is there are all of us at a time that we don't know what we don't know. So there are a number of people out there that we would have to tell that there is a solution to the problem for them to even understand that they have a problem that can be resolved. There are others on the other side of the coin that are desperately seeking a solution to the problem. That they can't go on another day with the problem right now. It's got to be fixed, and it's got to be fixed today. And there is a varied response from ones to the other as to people's understanding of the problem and the needs to get it fixed. However, I need to get my roof fixed. Neil comes out and quotes for the job and tells me that unfortunately that the leak has got through into the joists, and I'm going to have a part of the roof removed and the joists to be replaced, and I don't have sufficient insurance. All of a sudden this has become a £5,000 or £8,000 problem, as opposed to what I thought to be a couple of £100 for a few new tiles. And although I know it's a problem, and if I don't get it fixed, water's going to get in, it's going to get damp, I'm going to have some damp insulation problems, it's going to continue to escalate, I haven't got £5,000 to £8,000 to be able to pay Neil for the problem straight away. I'm going to have to prioritise how I find that money in order to be able to resolve the problem. What I'm trying to get at here is just because you can see that there is a problem that you can provide a resolution to doesn't mean to say it is at the height of their agenda straight away. Just because you can provide the solution doesn't mean to say they are ready to receive the solution here and now. I remember a few years ago now working with a gentleman from Yorkshire who was having a particular problem with being able to recover income that he'd invoiced for. There was a bad debtor list that was growing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that his clients weren't going to pay. There was just a growing problem with regards to his clients paying him within the terms and conditions of his contract. There was a glut of money outstanding that was growing by the month as people continued to push those terms and conditions into their priority as opposed to his. And I posed him the question, 1, what are you going to do about it? And 2, why are you allowing it to happen? Well, you've got to understand, Jay, that I'm at best a 5th priority debtor, 5th priority supplier. And I went, what? You'll have to explain this to me. Forgive me, I'm a business coach of some standing now, but I don't quite understand as to what you mean. Please help me understand. And he says, well, Jay, I provide X, but that's a luxury to them. Beyond me, the first priority is to either pay the rent to the landlord or the mortgage for the property, for the business premises that they're in. The second priority would be the salaries of the people that work within the business, possibly even the other way around, salaries and then rent. And they've got some other bills to pay. They desperately need to be able to maintain internet connection, so they'll pay their telephone bill and their internet connection way before they'll pay for what we provide. We are at best a 5th tier supplier. And I went, I'm not going to use his name, but you've got to stop that attitude within your own business to help them understand as to why you are a priority supplier to them, as to why your product or service is just as significant a priority as paying salaries or rent or any other bill. You can't possibly allow people to do business with you on their terms, where you've stipulated that you want paying within 14 days, and some 120, 130, 150 days later you're still saying, is there any chance you might be able to give us a few quid towards that invoice? It simply doesn't work that way. You're going to run out of cash before you run out of customers. You know the old expression, charity begins at home? Well, you've created your business into a charity by giving away all of the products and service and hoping that one day you might get paid. And by you accepting that, you're actually advocating that the customers choose to do that with you. You allow them to do so. So when it comes to you and your business, we've got to ensure that you have priority over what's happening within the business and who you do business with. And in order to be able to do that, we've got to be able to build the know, like and trust relationship and rapport with them. And in order to do that, we need to understand as to one, what their decision-making process is and where you fit on their priority scale to ensure that the know, like and trust is sufficient, that regardless of how much money they have in their pocket, if they book you as a product or service, that they see you as a priority debtor, that they see you as a priority supplier, that they see what you offer is of significance to them, that they are happy to spend the money with you, recommend and refer you to others, as opposed to only do so when you're chasing at their heels. I sincerely hope that helps. Make sure that you share this or drop a comment below with your thoughts and suggestions. Share it with other people that you think might benefit, and look out for all the other stuff that we have online to be able to help you and your business to be able to add a zero to your personal disposable income. That's Jay Allen from My TrueNORTH. I look forward to being able to have a real catch up and chat with you sometime soon. All the best. Take care.